Namaste, sir. Namaste to all the beautiful souls here. Can you hear me?
Yes, Nainaji.
Sir, we are having little connectivity issues here due to heavy rains. So in case it breaks off, I somebody should inform me because I'll not be knowing.
Yeah, sure. I'll take care of it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So today, I request all the beautiful souls here to just close your eyes for a few seconds so that we gel in with all our energies and get connected to this book. Take a deep breath. Slowly exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. Sorry for the inconvenience. As I said, we are having little signal issues here. Can you hear me?
Yes, Nainaji. Please go ahead.
Sir, I'll be logging in from my mobile.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Last week we saw, in the last class we saw about death, how to face death, how to accept it, and how not to grieve more. Grieving is okay. Give me a minute. Okay. Am I clear, sir?
Yes, Nainaji. Yeah.
Yeah, there was echo because both got connected. So we saw last week about death and how not to grieve more. As Baba says, grieving is okay, but over grieving is not good for the soul that has departed us. It will not be able to decide, it will be in Trishanku state. It will not be able to proceed in the other world, and it will not be even able to come back to the earth, isn't it? So we have seen that. Now today we shall see about Rudra's feelings, and here they have mentioned importance of pets. Also, we will see about again channeling itself. When you channel, when you take up the responsibility of channeling, what are the rules to be followed and how you should not get attached to it. And those who are acting as channelers, if they go out of the way, That means ego takes in. Or if they are if they are not the masters who are chosen to be, then what happens we'll see today. Okay. So actually Baba has left Rudra for few days. So during that time, he is accompanied by 3 dogs. Rudra has 3 dogs. 1 is female, 2 are male. So he is, whenever Baba is not around, these 3, little pets, or the pets, I mean, he has just, they were street dogs, and he made this habit of feeding them. So they come to him every day. Okay, so his 3 dogs accompany him when Baba is not there most of the time. They are there even when Baba is there, but when Baba is not around, they are more closer to him. So his 3 dogs are all they are of different breeds. So he normally would say something like, whenever he has to feed them, okay, you sweet bastards, eat up. But today he himself was very upset. He was very upset because he was remembering again his children. He uh, just looked at them and nodded, walked away, and sat on the steps of the cottage. Usually they rush towards their balls, but this day they sensed that their master was in pain. They could see the pain in the eyes, and they soberly approached their food. Means even they were not interested to eat the food. Blondie, who was a she dog, she looked at Rudra, and only when he managed a smile, and when he told her, to eat, she would approach and bow down to him, and then, start eating. She would always wait for Rudra's vocal command. He would only when he permitted her to eat, she would eat. That was the attachment that she had, and she was the most closest to Rudra, who would sense his all emotions. Whenever he was upset, she would approach him and she would lick him, and she would, tell this, this person or her master that she was there. And whenever, after channeling, Rudra would be having lot of uneasiness, restlessness, and sometimes even, he would not be feeling well. He will fall ill most of the time due to, energy that has been absorbed. So that during those all phase, so loyally, Blondie would come sit beside him, and she would be there throughout whenever he was not able to wake up from his bed or whatever it is. So that was a kind of loyalty Blondie would show to Rudra. So that was the kind of relation Rudra had with these dogs. Now it has been a month since this old man had disappeared. Who is the old man? The Baba. This time he had disappeared for nearly a month. And whenever Baba disappears for more days, Rudra would, miss him dearly. He missed the wise sage with his noble presence and restful aura, warm eyes that never judged, words that only healed, and jokes that made the child within Rudra laugh. That night, Rudra once again entered his black van and slept in it, but kept the doors open for his 3 friends, all sprawled on the grass a few feet away, but from a spot where they could all see him. It was as though they realized he was alone, aching and yearning, and wanted to reassure him that they were there for him. Beyond them, Rudra could see the sand, the white frothy waves, and could hear the ocean sing its strange lullaby, either to him or to the full moon that bathed bathed the world in her soft, luminous silver glow. 3 days later, Rudra was back to channeling. After taking, rest for a few days, he started channeling again. Word of mouth, accuracy of prediction, and most importantly, being treated with compassion, the absence of being judged or looked down upon, and suggesting simple changes to tackle or face serious issues, which brought relief and hope, made people flock to the small cottage and to the strange man, who looked more like a washed up hippie, but for some old reason had his fingers on their pulse, a cure for their burdened minds, and a balm for their bruised hearts. So beautifully it is explained here. That is what happens, masters, when we just hear to people who are in pain, who are going through all these, everyone here is a human, and they come with their luggage. We already know. Just a ear to hear, you need not have to talk, you need not have to give all these solutions or whatever it is. You just have to be there and tell they will be okay, and you're there by their side. That's all that person will be needing that moment. So that is how so beautiful it is explained here. So now we'll move. Now Baba has entered again. He's come back. So he's joking like this. How is my famous child who makes tea that even the heavens fear? Okay. So he's joking about Rudra's chai. Rudra prostrated himself and held Baba's feet, and tears flowed down and wet the Baba's feet. Baba sat down by the young man and caressed his hair. Just close your eyes and get immersed in it, masters. Please don't leave me. I don't want anything. No human relationship, no sanity, no peace, not even heaven. Just you, Baba. Please don't let go. Don't leave me, I request. So Baba answers, my silly boy, where can I go if you don't want me to? I'm always with the heart that calls out to me and wants me by his or her side. I cannot leave my children, even if they forget me. Yes, if you want to feel my presence all the time, then my child, you must remember me all the time. That's all I ask. But you, my boy, are always with me. I have eaten every meal with you, as you have always offered me the meal first, before putting a morsel in your mouth. I have seen all the fascinating sunrises, sunsets with you, as you asked me to be present with you. Each time the sun did its illusionary dance. So beautiful it is explained. I don't know all this heavy duty spirituality, Baba. I just want you to be with me physically and spiritually. Yes, my boy, physically and spiritually. One must have eyes to see. See, Baba is explaining how you can get connected to your guru or your God, whatever it is. Most of the time, God is begging to be seen, but he is ignored. Life is strange, my child. You must not get ensnared by its illusions. Focus more and more on your God and Guru, and you shall feel the presence within and outside you as they have to be present with the disciple. It is a mandatory for them. See, we have rules. This same way, even God and Gurus have their rules. That is, they have to be with the person who is longing for them. God and Guru owe it to their children, just as being upright, kind, and noble is a must for the disciple. So God and Guru too are born by rules of ancient hermitage, where their presence is mandatory. I am here for few days in the flesh to teach you a few things regarding healing, alas, to pass on to you an ancient wisdom of how to make good tea is even beyond this old man who you call Baba. They had tea with cookies that had been presented to Rudra by one of the numerous families who came for guidance, predictions, and counseling. Kitchen was filled with all the delicacies. So what Rudra would do is, whatever people who came for channeling offered, he would always keep each and everything before Baba. So now we'll see what all he has kept. Some flowers, incense sticks, oil to burn the lamp, some cigars, some cookies, some cash. All were offerings before Sai Baba, and only then he felt he was fit to use them. So he would offer to the Baba first, and then he would take it. Now he showed all the offerings to Baba. The old sage smiled and blessed Rudra. Where is my share of tobacco? So Baba is asking for his chillam. Oh, I have kept that in a blue haversack, means a bag. Rudra got up, handed Baba the haversack where Rudra had kept Baba's share of cigars and tobacco. Obviously, Baba did not have to be present to know all that which Rudra did. If you observe, I have given you more than I have consumed. The last thing I want is to be accused by a cigar smoking sage that I have left him out of the smoking stash. Baba, like a small child, went through all the fancy cigars and tobacco and then handed them back to Rudra. He said, all these fancy things you only keep. I'm, happy with my tobacco. I'm happy with my tobacco. Though don't for a moment think I don't get all that you keep for me. I receive and bless all that you place before me. Sharing what you have with me, son, is all that matters to me. Share with me your joys, your pains, your food, your doubts, your secrets, your illusions, your love, your resedness. I want it all. Don't keep me away from anything, nothing. I am you, and you, my child, are I. Every child is in me, every child is in me, and I am in every child. I am the sunrise and the sunset. I am the moon, the waxing and waning of it. I am fire and light, and the heat that comes forth from it. Never ever distinguish me separate from matter and mind. I am all are me. I was present in Jesus, Zoroaster, Ram, and Meher and Kali, just as they are present in me. We are one, and in one we all exist. Fools try to differentiate between us. Fools succeed with fools. Be wise. Can you separate the wave from the ocean? Can the light be separated from the flame? Can you separate the sunbeams from sun or the fire from its warmth? The fruit comes from the seed and gives seeds to get more fruit. Nature is all encompassing and never differentiates. Only foolish mankind differentiates and tries to prove some nonsensical superiority. Now come, let's take a walk with these three friends of yours. So they just went for a walk. Now we'll see the rules of healing. Remember, the first important rule of healing is that only God and Guru can heal. Nobody else can heal. See, masters, what happens is this happens most with some spiritual gurus, or we have seen in news, etc. Once we reach a state, ego takes in. So what we feel is, it is me, it is I who is doing all this. But that is what Baba is reminding us here. Only God or Guru can heal. Nobody else can heal. Everyone else is just a channel for healing. You, my son, are just a medium, a piano through which the divine music flows. You are neither the musician nor the music. They are just the instrument. But the instruments needs to be in perfect tune and harmony. The string should be neither too tight nor too loose. Thus, the instrument is very important. Whatsoever proficient a musician, and however beautiful and melodious the tune, if the instrument is not in perfect condition and tuned upright, the music that flows out of it shall not be as pleasing as it should be. Of course, a master musician will still bring out amazing music, even from a rusted tin, but the effort and the strain is not worth the while. There are millions of instruments, just a few master musicians. Thus, it is best to keep the instrument in perfect shape. Now, just like becoming a channel for predictions and guidance and counseling, each one of us is a channel for healing too. Each one of us, take your children. I know when they fell ill, they gravitated towards you and they would sleep on your lap or hold you tight, and you would spend all day and night with them. Most often, they felt better immediately, or they felt at least less ill and more comforted. This happens with most children. They may be very ill, but the moment their parents or their loved ones hold them or are with them, they feel the illness and discomfort about. It could happen with one's parents or with elders, maybe grandparents, a grandmother, an elderly maid, spouse, or even just being in one's own protective surrounding, like being in one's own bedroom or home. Why? The reason is very simple. There is subconscious healing taking place. I remember when your children fell ill, you would hold them close, and though you did not know it, you used to give your own energy to them, allowing them to get stronger and be able to fight the illness that had plagued their small bodies. I know how miserable you were when your children were ill. They may forget, I never shall. The masters and nature keeps all accounts. No love and emotion goes to waste. We receive everything and preserve it. See, Master, so beautifully Baba is saying, most of the time we feel, I am so good, I'm so lovable to everybody, but why is this happening to me? Array, God is not kind towards me. This is how we, start feeling when we are, surrounded with all our suffering. So that's why Baba is saying, no love, no emotion goes waste. We receive everything and preserve it. So my son, who has no inclination to live and all the desire to die, he is talking about Rudra. Remember, we all are channels, an instrument through which the yoke of karma can be erased and settled. That is why it is often observed that when the owner or the master of the house is very ill, the pet dog or horse sometimes dies. It is so beautifully, explained here about the pets. It is not only because of emotional trauma, but also because the pet wants the master to be well, and is unconsciously healing the master, giving out his or her energy, trying to fill the master up with its own prana and life energy. Why do you think masters were and are always ill and always suffering from discomfort, pain, or illness all through their lives? Take any master, and if you ask his or her disciple, you will be told how unwell the master is virtually all the time. Why? Because the master consciously keeps taking on the karma and illness of the disciples and devotees, and thus illness plague spiritual masters. Take Sai Baba, Meher Baba, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Ramana Maharshi, Kamu Baba. All of them were ill. All of them throughout their lives suffered for the karma and ill health of their disciples. It's not that they could not cure themselves. They could, but there are certain laws of energy and karma, and they abided by those laws. If Jesus wasn't ready to be crucified, do you really believe any man on earth or any force in the universe could have managed to touch a hair on his head? Leave aside, take him, wear a crown of thorns, or crucify him. No, he allowed it to happen. He wanted to take on the cumulative karma of mankind. He took these onto himself and thus allowed himself to go through the pain, agony, abuse that only masters can go through for their children. And all this made all the more painful, for the master can stop or shield himself from feeling pain, but he doesn't, as that interferes with his plan and the law of karma. So beautifully it is explained, masters, here. Remember, the law of nature works in simple ways. Somebody has to absorb whatever energy is set loose. Somebody has to foot the bill. Whether the individual pays or the master, the law of nature and karma is not really interested. Same system operates with healing and karma of pain and illness. As I have mentioned, somebody has to foot the cosmic bill. There are no free meals in the cosmos. Thus, when gurus, masters, or even channels of healing go about their task of working with energy and karma, somebody has to pay for their then actions. Energy and karma only want to know Where do I go now? To whom they go can be negotiated. The energy or karma network can be convinced to overlook the person, but it has to go someplace. You cannot destroy matter, only change its form. Some way you cannot obliterate somebody else's karma, but only transfer it. The master may not want his or her disciple to suffer from cancer, but karmically, the person has to experience cancer and all that which comes along with this disease. The master knows best. The master decides that the child should no longer suffer from the illness. The disciple should be cured. Up to this point, there is no problem with the cosmos. The karmic accountant can be convinced to change the address of billing, but the bill has to be sent and paid for. Somebody has to foot the bill. The karma has to be worked upon. They don't mind the energy of cancer removed from the individual, but the energy needs to be accounted for and worked upon. It needs to be given a decent burial. It can't be kept floating in the karmic cosmos. It needs to be laid to completion. The energy automatically gravitates to the person who is the cause of its uncompleted mission. That is the masters here, means the one who is healing. It seeks a home. It gravitates to the person who has been the cause of its homelessness. It abides in the master or the channel. Now the master soaks in karmic leftovers and the master goes through the pain, the agony, but due to his or her spiritual strength, the master works out the energy of karma in a very short while. But the pain is all more excruciating as the master works out the karma in a very few days. All that which the illness was to achieve and teach the master takes on and digests in a few days' time. You can imagine the pain, excruciating, that is karma of just one disciple. The master has thousands and millions of disciples. All this give and take of karma eventually saps the master, and health of the master starts to get ruined. But the master continued soaking in karmas of the disciples. That is why we say the guru comes before God. God has laid down the laws, and thus God too is bound by those very laws. And remember, God is all just. God cannot be lenient to some and unsparing to others, unless the case is presented by the guru. When the guru seeks for karmas to be changed or altered, God consents. The guru is like a mother, all merciful and with a heart that beats and bleeds for the disciples. The master thus bends the laws for the peace and happiness of the disciples, but the guru pays the price that is so excruciating and nobody can decipher or comprehend. Remember, there are no healers. Only God and master are healers. Everybody else just channels for healing. Never ever call yourself a healer. It is very, very profound sentence, masters. Never ever call yourself a healer. Always call yourself a channel for healing. It is not only the modest thing to say, but also the right thing to say. So now we'll see when those who are not masters and if they become channels, what happens. The problem starts with those who are not masters, but are destined to really yearn to become channels of healing. As they are not masters, they do not have the capacity to digest the working of karma and displaced energy. But as they are channels for healing, they have the power to initiate the transfer of energy and karma. They can cure the illness. They can work on the karma and energy pattern. But after that comes the real issue. Energy demands its pound of flesh and it gravitates towards the channel. The problem starts here. Does the channel have the power to shield his or her aura and his body? Is the armor of humility, detachment, and state of egoless protective covering able to protect him or her from the transfer of energy and divert the energy to the cosmic river? The master is one with the God. Thus, the master and God have become one and are one entity. Remember, the ocean and wave are one and yet separate. The master, through the disciple's effort, achieves the transfer of karma and energy and then takes it upon him or herself. But this transfer is only possible if the disciple, first of all, is completely in tune with the master. is an empty instrument, is strong to absorb the energy transfer, and hasn't brought his or her ego into the picture. See, masters, it is so beautiful. So if the channel of healing hasn't taken the steps to protect and hasn't taken the right steps of detachment, egoless state, then the real problem starts. The transfer of illness from the patient to the cosmic river doesn't take place. It's something like a bank, you know. In electronic banking terms, the transfer hasn't reached the right account. There is a problem in the connectivity and the funds remain in the place of origin deposit. So he becomes very ill. The channeler who is channeling becomes very ill because it gets transferred to him as he doesn't have so much of power to digest it. So this is about it. Now again Baba left Rudra, okay, for a few days. Remember, whether you are a medium for healing or you are praying for somebody's health, the most important point is to be remembered is that you need to have body, mind, heart all moving in same direction and without any attachment or passion. No conflict. Secondly, you must not be in a state of ill health of any sort. Remember, you are not a master, but a medium, and thus your body cannot absorb too much of negative energy. If you are not in the right health of frame of mind, it means the chances of negativity enveloping you and seeping within you and clouding your aura are very high. And thus, though you may be instrumental in healing process of another, you will absorb the person's illness and fall ill. The problem is that by the time you fall ill, you will have absorbed so much negativity and illness that the very life force within you will be nearly extinguished. If the fire within you starts flickering and is almost extinguished, your body, mind, aura will succumb to ill health, restlessness, negativity. So what you have to do, it is said here, always do healing in front of the fire oil lamp, and incense sticks and camphor are also fine. You have to pray. This prayer should be prayed whether you are a medium or just saying a prayer for somebody who is ill. See, masters, most of the time we keep praying. So this is very important. That is what they are saying. Fill my body. This is the prayer, masters. Fill my body, mind, and soul, aura, vibrations, and channels, every drop of blood, DNA and cell, my entire being with your protection, love, guidance, strength, healing energies, spiritual energies, and grace. Forgive me, lead me, guide me, guard me, and have mercy on me. This is how you should pray. Then you say the most important prayer for healing. This is the first prayer, what we just now uttered, is your own protection. If you're praying for somebody who is ill, or if you're trying to counsel somebody who is ill, this is the first prayer to protect yourself. Now, next is for healing. Remember, though illness may be self-created, but often it is karmic. If it is karmic, you're trying to work on the person's ill health, means you're tempering with the individual karmic blueprint. Maybe nature wants the individual to go through the illness, and now you want to release the individual from the experience and illness and discomfort. Maybe the illness is very prominent learning curve for the individual. Now, no matter what you may do, the individual will not be cured. And this will only lead to further frustration, doubt, anxiety in both the individual and yourself. So it is important that you add a small prayer after the initial prayer for protection. That is, now this is for healing. Please use me as a medium to heal this child of yours. Let only your energy and grace flow through me to heal this child of yours. Please heal this child's body, mind, soul, aura, vibrations, channel, every drop of blood, DNA, and cell. But if for whatever reason the child has to go through the illness and the experience of the illness, please give child wisdom, strength, love, compassion to go through the illness and experience with grace, positive surrender, and even happiness. So important, so beautiful it is, masters. This is an important prayer, as what you are telling the cosmos is, if the illness is self-created and can be cured, do so. But if for whatever reason, the person has to go through the illness, if it is karmic, then let the person go through it with grace and positive surrender. Thus, through the illness, though the illness may prevail, the individual will begin to feel better mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and be able to cope with the physical discomfort in a much calmer manner. So beautifully it is given here, masters. Now, again, after all this, now Rudra has begun channeling for the people. Here now a patient who's 55-year-old has come. He is a cashier in a departmental store, which is 20 kilometers away. He had heard about Rudra from his own driver. Because driver's daughter, she had gone missing, and driver had approached Rudra. And Rudra had stated that she would come next day, and it so happened that she came back. So Rudra says here why she had left for a day, why she was missing for a day, because Baba also told the father not to be a tyrant. Children are like flowers. One needed to handle them with love, care, and firmness, but not like a bull in a china shop. The man I had asked, what the hell was that china shop? The daughter returned home at 11:30 the next day. Both the father and the daughter visited Rudra in the evening and presented him with most delicious homemade chips. So he had heard from his now this departmental cashier. He has heard from his driver, because driver had this issue and his daughter returned. He had conveyed that to his master. So now he has come with the hope. Okay. His name is Hosi. He's a Zoroastrian. He comes near the Rudra's cottage. Of course, he usually spent entire, usually Rudra, has no timing set for healing and everything, but actually he is set as 4 o'clock, but everybody drops in whenever they want, Now, Jose wasn't much of a believer. Actually, he was not that, believer, but, for the heck of it, he's come here. He looked at Rudra and it was obvious he didn't like Rudra's hippie look too well. But Jose had traveled a long way and now cursed Mukesh, his driver, the silly sod, who had gone and on about this crazy looking man with long hair and a bandana around his head. Rudra said his prayers, then shut his eyes and prayed to Baba. Then Rudra placed his right palm over Jose's left palm. The palms did not touch. There was a gap of an inch or maybe more. Rudra shut his eyes, and after a while, Jose began to feel the heat in the center of his left palm. Initially, it was pricking sensation that grew warm and then hot. I feel suffocation. I feel breathlessness. I am feeling giddy. The world's moving in circles. All this because you just don't know how to breathe. Then Rudra opened his eyes and put his hand down. I have a feeling your problem is that you just don't breathe properly. Jose looked as though any moment he would punch Rudra hard on the nose. See, he has come and he is not a believer. And now Rudra is saying, just because he doesn't breathe deeply, he has got this illness of giddiness. Most of the time he is having giddiness. So when Rudra says this, he feels very angry that he wants to punch on Rudra's nose. Jose looked as though, okay, look here, you are trying to tell me the main cause of my ill health is I don't breathe properly? Now Rudra says, I'm trying to tell you that the core reason for your ill health is that you don't breathe properly. I'm not a doctor. Thus, may not be able to give you a medical name for your problem, but you not breathing well, and that is the cause of your illness. Look here, I respect you are doing for the poor and ill, but let me tell you something. I have been suffering from fainting spells for past 20 years. I have tried every known cure and every known treatment. I have gone to Canada and got my test done and met every known doctor who could have helped me. I have spent a fortune and more. And now you're telling me that I keep fainting and getting convulsions and blackouts because I don't know how to breathe. So this is dilemma of Hosi. Rudra took a deep breath. He was new to all this. He was aware that he had no rational explanation. He was also certain that while feeling that person's energy and vibration, he had felt suffocation, giddiness, and nausea. So, whatever he would experience, that is what he would tell them. The man obviously had done his work and been treated by a truckload of fancy doctors. Oh, Baba. Then suddenly a warm sensation entered Rudra. His breathing got more regular. A certain confidence and power filled his being. Rudra smiled. He knew the old man was around. Yes, you are fainting because you are not breathing properly. Your level of stress is very high, and your response to stress is you stop breathing and you breathe very slowly, and thus you faint. Look here, it is not logical. That fellow says this, Hausi. Now, Rudra says again, your being here isn't logical too. You think you're coming to me is a logical or a rational step? This channeling and all this paranormal stuff is the most illogical thing going around. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to tell me that all this isn't logical. You think people come here for my wisdom and logic? You have come here because you have no place else to go. My reading is that you don't breathe properly. Start breathing deeply. Start focusing on your breath. When you are stressed, shut your eyes and take a deep breath. This is my advice to you. If it doesn't work, you haven't wasted any money, just a little time. And what is time? It is just state of mind. Now do yourself a favor and breathe. If you do so, I don't think you will faint again. And if you do faint, it will be because you aren't breathing. The man looked at Rudra for a while and then smiled because now he's listening because his tone has changed. Rudra's tone has changed. You are an odd egg, aren't you? The oddest egg around, my friend. But the fact is that most often solutions are in front of us. We just refuse to acknowledge them. 3 weeks later, Hosi walked through Rudra's door. Nobody bothered to knock anymore. They just took it for granted that Rudra would be more than happy to see them. Very often, Rudra was. You know that now that Hosi, that man, he's telling, you know what, you crazy man? I haven't fainted yet. First time in 20 years. I haven't fainted in a fortnight. Yes, a week back, when I had gone to the chemist, I began to feel faint. But I walked out and began to breathe deep. And though everyone around thought I was just another mad Parsi, I became all right. So, uh, Jai Baba. So you are breathing properly, isn't it? Oh, yes. And that's thanks to you. I have a friend who works with me the same office. His name is Rudra too. Whenever I see him or somebody mention his name, I begin to breathe properly, remembering you. Saying this, he began to laugh around. Come, let's go and have a drink. This is so they now the one who is not a believer is also started believing in Rudra. Okay, now we will move to a phase, where when Rudra first time experienced this power that he had. Okay, the first time Rudra realized the power of healing was when a mother and a child entered the room, not for healing, but for channeling. The first statement Baba made was about the child's ill health and need to protect the child from any chest congestion. Rudra answered all the questions, but as the time went by, he began to hear the child's wheezing chest. He mentioned this to the mother. Mother put her ear to the boy's chest. I can't hear the wheezing, but he has been suffering from chest congestion and asthma since birth. Rudra looked at the boy. He breathed in deep. The boy was his son's age. He looked at the boy and remembered his son. He didn't want his son or this boy to be ill ever. 2 hours later, Rudra was down with high fever. His chest was congested and every breath hurt. He knew what had transpired. He had got emotional. He had let his guard down. He wanted the child healed, as the child reminded him of his son. But by night, Rudra was in bad shape. He was coughing hard and his body shivered. He couldn't breathe. It took 2 days for Rudra to get slightly better and a week to get completely cured. 10 days later, the mother and the boy came to meet Rudra. They had brought with them various gifts. Thank you. The mother looked at Rudra and smiled. That night, after we met you, after years, my son went to sleep without any medicine or inhaler. It's been more than a week that he hasn't fallen sick. I know you have taken the illness upon yourself. God bless you. Rudra smiled. He looked at the boy and patted his silky hair. Don't worry about this boy. Baba and my prayers are always with him. Rudra could feel his eyes get wet. He breathed in deep and watched the mother and son walk to their car and drive away. So here Rudra had taken illness of this little boy. So masters, I think we're done for the day. So before we proceed with the meditation, I wish few of you can, share your experience about your pet dogs or whatever pets you have, not only about dogs, any pet. Here it is so beautifully given that sometimes the pets take the illness of the masters. Before I give you a chance, I would love to share my experience. My father, he had a pet dog called Raja. And this actually Papa had brought it from a street, and he had fed it. He was the only one who would look after, because no one else would like it. My grandmother, grandfather, whatever, whoever it is. This dog was so loyal. It would walk to my father's office every day along with his bike. It would follow him to his office. Once he settled in his office, it would come back. Okay. And it would wait for him at night because Papa would come very late at night, around 12 o'clock. All of us would be asleep. But it was this dog which would wait for him till he comes. And when Papa was served food, it would sit straight from him. I mean, in a we had a long veranda, big veranda, where it would sit, and Papa would be sitting in the kitchen. It would see him eat, and then only it would eat. I remember the scene always, and when I was very small to remember all this, but I have heard my mother tell me, because since a puppy was gifted to me by my students. Her name is Dora. My mother keeps remembering all these accounts now about dogs, and she told me recently, and I remember even my grandmother telling me that 1 month before Papa passed, this Raja would always cry. He would cry, and he had left eating his food slowly, and the day he passed away, Raja had followed father. He had pestered him so much not to go. He had literally pulled my father with his legs, and while Papa, he took off on his bike. It had followed until it could see him and smell him. And after that day and that night itself, Papa passed away, and it never came back to our house. After Papa passed, it had come for the, his dead body was brought to the house, it seems, and it came, it saw, and it just vanished. That was a loyalty, that it had. That's about my father's lovable dog, Raja. Now I understand the importance of pets because I have one. I'm experiencing it. There is, I feel, nothing can replace the unconditional love they show towards us. When I'm disciplining Dora, I may get angry. I may, raise my voice. She will be quiet for a few seconds. and suddenly she will jump on her feet and she'll come and start licking my leg again. And I feel now, I'm getting to know what is unconditional love, what is patience. So beautifully Dora is teaching me. Maybe I was not enough. I didn't have, even though I am 2.5 years in spirituality trying to mend myself, maybe I didn't have those qualities yet. I had not reached that stage. So I am very thankful to Dora and to my father's, Raja, where, for being so loyal to us. And I wish if you can share any of your experiences. Yes, Masters? Yes, Jaspir ma'am. You can unmute yourself. I'm off the camera because I'm having connectivity issues, Masters.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll take it.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Yeah, good morning, all. Ma'am, as you were saying, I also always had an aversion for having animals in the house earlier. This is like 13, 14 years back. And then my son adopted a little pup, just 25 days old from people for animals. And we did not buy a dog or something. It was adopted. In fact, proper legal papers were made, he's the father and things like that. So when I've seen her growing, it's exactly, I have learned so much just bringing her up. She's 13 years old now. So she is almost a granny now. But then we have seen every stage in her life, how well connected she is with the family, how emotional she is. Like if we are 4 members in the family, suppose one of them is out of town or not returned home from work or something, she's at the gate, waiting patiently. Like we all might get tired, we might just retire, but she's there waiting, for everyone to be home. And if anyone is angry, she will understand that there's something wrong in the house. And I'm so closely have observed her, and I've become closer to nature by observing her, because animals, they have a deeper connection with nature than we have. Yeah. So like when I see her, I have learned a lot of laws of spirituality after reading all these books, especially when I read Peter Rochlew's Soul's Journey. I'm so happy that she is going to be a human being in her next life. They say that pet animals, after that, their next life is generally human. So we are, not even like she's growing old now, but we have that tinge of happiness also that she's going to now come as a human being. So yes, of course, it's just that they look different. Otherwise, I think they're much more emotional than everybody else. Like children might be tired, they won't come to us to meet us or something. They're engrossed in their own activities. But whatever she is doing, she is the first one. I had hypertension, ma'am, 15 years back. But after keeping her and due to other things also, all my meditation and everything, I did not have to go into any medication for hypertension, because whatever mood you are in, she is the first one to greet you. And I can feel that she's taking my stress away from me, as you were saying, that they take over your stress, and that smile comes automatically, and I give her a hug and I'm okay then after that. So yes, of course, pets are a very big blessing if you get that connection with a pet. It's absolutely a blessing. And yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely amazing and awesome watching you, ma'am.
Yeah.
And thanks to you, you're doing a great job. And I saw you taking classes for meditation for your teachers as well as your
on
kids.
Teachers' Day. Yeah. Teachers' Day too.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Also, thank you for sharing your experience. Yes, I think we are learning here. I think ये जो शब्द है ना, compassion, love, unconditional love is a big word. Yeah, this is what I'm learning. All these days I had heard. I used to think I'm practicing, but I'm not practicing. I have come to know that only after Dora came into my life.
Yes, ma'am. Like we had to read so many books. I've read the Patanjali Yoga Sutra also and all that. But you just observe a pet, they're already doing exactly all that, you see their poses, you see, they know when to breathe, they know when they have to go out in nature, they know everything. So they have not read these books, but they are, I think, much more learned than us when it comes to the correct way of living. You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, even food. I mean, when they're sick, they just stop eating. So we people don't do that. We still keep eating. You know, they just leave food for a day and then they become all right. And she
Yes.
knows exactly which grass she has to go and eat outside when she's got a tummy upstairs or something. They don't need medicines. I mean, I've given her homeopathy only, you know, whenever required. Which was also very, very rare, except for an ear infection. I've never given her allopathic medicines too. So even
Achha.
she does not take allopathy. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Jagrati ma'am.
Very good evening and very good morning to everybody. Uh, Ma'am, your every session is very interesting, very inspiring. I will share a very small incident from my childhood,
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
which was told by my mother. Actually, I and my brother, we were very young. We were at Liverpool in my childhood. And my father, he's an architect, and we were given a bungalow over there, a row
Yes.
house like bungalows were very connected to each other, like duplex, and
Mm.
each of the bungalow had a backyard. And my father had to work late at night also. Like he had to go to offices, different offices and visits and sites out of the city also. So once this was shared by my mother when we were grown up. My mother, she daily used to give roti and bread to our neighbor's dog. Our neighbors, they had a pet dog, and my mother daily used to, both times in the morning and in the evening, she used to give uh, roti and bread, fresh roti and bread to the
Okay.
neighbor's dog. And what happened one day, it was late night, and we were just on the verge of sleeping. My mother, myself and my brother, we were besides my mother, and we were just ready, going to sleep. And my father, he was at work. And suddenly my mom, she recognized, she saw a man moving
Mm.
behind our bungalow, his shadow. She was able to see the
Yeah.
shadow, like he was a robber. And
Okay.
yeah, uh, and it was very scaring because my father was also not there, and my mom,
Mm.
naturally, we females are very
Yeah.
like timid.
Yeah.
So it was only because of God's grace. What happened that the neighbor's dog, he barked so loudly that the thief, it was
Uh-huh.
really a thief, because next day it was told, it was known that he was a thief. And that day night, previous day night, the neighbor's dog,
Yeah.
he barked so loudly that the thief, without doing anything to anybody, he ran away. So since then, now, since many years, I don't have a pet, but I give biscuits, bread, whatever I'm having while going or coming, returning to my building. I keep aside, I have kept one vessel over there, and I
Okay.
keep whatever I'm having, biscuit, bread, whatever I'm having over there. And I see whenever I leave from my building, the dog follows me up to the quite a long distance, and while
Yeah.
returning also, yeah, he's besides me till I reach my flat. So this
Okay.
was really amazing, and it seems very beautiful, very warm. Like human beings, though we trust and we feel that human beings are near to us, they are dear ones, but pets too are loving ones. Like we should trust them.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much, Jagrati
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes. Anybody else? And also, let me tell you, I'm not promoting anything here. I'm just keen and eager to know your experiences, as I have Dora with me now. And one more experience I would love to share here is, she's been with me like it is 40 days now. I have a student, who doesn't smile at all. I don't know what is issue with her. I have been telling her to be happy. Children should be happy. She's just in third standard. I've never seen her emotions, but she's so afraid of Dora, but still, when she'll see Dora around playing with, I give 10 minutes, last 10 minutes for kids to interact with Dora. So all the kids are so overwhelmingly happy. Dora is giving so much of love. Evenings, after these children leave, my whole apartment children come here, interact with Dora. I don't know how they converse, what they converse, but even Dora is happy. Even the children are happy. And this girl particularly I've observed, she's been, I put her in a, crater when I'm taking tuitions because I don't want anyone to get distracted. And Dora is very, very naughty. She keeps on eating anything that is there. She even doesn't leave children's pencils, rubber, because she is not able to understand all those things. So she will keep eating. So for her safety, since I'm alone now, so I keep her in a crater. So after she's left, all are happy, jumping with joy. And that girl, no, she keeps on telling me, "Mom, usko mat, usko usme dalo mat, wo karo, ye karo." And she's so getting connected to Dora, and she has started opening up now. She pets her, she takes her, and she tries to feed her. So beautiful it is, very, very beautiful. I'm not telling, a great work I'm doing, but I am amazed with how pets get along with children.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I just wanted to add one more thing.
Yeah,
When I read the book Robert Shaw's Soul's Gift, or maybe Soul's Love, I don't remember which one, there was a chapter on pets. So I was specially given that chapter because in our book club, we do it chapter wise, with the presentation. So I was given the chapter on pets because the sir knew that I'm too passionate about my dog. So they gave me this chapter on pets, and I was so overwhelmed to read that there are certain reasons why they have come to our life. Like some previous life connections, we have been related to them somewhere. You read that chapter on pets from Robert Swash.
Okay.
It's like, they give stories, real life stories of people. So this person, her pets, like a lot of past lives were there, and every past life she had some pet or the other, maybe a horse or a dog or maybe a rooster. And there were reasons why they had come back to her life. So I got even more attached after that, there has to be some reason why Lola is in my life. So we've never really seen her as an animal because she's more than a family member, because as I said, she's much unconditional. Children would come to you when they need something, and they are moody. Like when they're not in a mood, they might not even listen to you. But this girl, whatever state she is in, she is always there. If you are feeling upset or something, she is there for you. I've understood her so much more after reading these books also. And she's been with me through my little tough times when I had rheumatoid arthritis. So I could see that my children used to sometimes get irritated with me that I'm not able to run around with them or maybe be ready for any family fun or something. But then I felt somewhere that she understood because she used to always snuggle up to me and sleep, knowing that I'm in pain. This is what I feel now. And yes, ma'am. So I just thought of that chapter suddenly because I was especially chosen to do pets. So yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing this information because I am fearful of dogs actually. Dog had bitten me when I was very small. So I was very scared. My children, my students who come to me, they had kept on pesting me since 2 months. I took her into my lap very late, ma'am. Very late, So I kept denying, because I had my own fears. I said, I may not do justice to her, or I'm very fearful. And, most of, apartments are not that suitable for the pets,
Right.
There are a lot of reservations from others. but I don't know their parents. They said, they called my husband also. They kept waiting. They had that much of patience to wait for.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's why I mentioned that chapter. I said, you read that. I'm sure you'll feel some past connection with Dora.
Thank you so much.
See, we also had a lot of aversion about dogs, me and my husband both. So when my son just brought the dog home, she was just handful, you know, she was 20 days old. So like, there was a stall in this mall and people for animals. This is a NGO, an organization here. So like he adopted her from there. And my husband was so furious. What is this? She's got to go back the next day. But the entire night, she was like whining away and all. And you won't believe the closest she is to my husband now. Like she's just like a daughter. What just like a daughter? Like he used to keep Navratras, all of them. You won't believe the first Molly he used to tie to Lola. Because till that time, my daughter was like not up or something, but she was all ready, you know, for the prasad. And then she used to get up. And actually, she used to bring her paw aage, you know, ki Molly bando. So she used to bring her paw aage. So she's been like, she is a daughter, you know. So he was the one. The next day, my son said, Papa's getting so angry, so I'll go leave her back. So he said, no, once whoever has come to my house is not going back. So since that day, she's most attached to him also. Yeah.
Thank you.
So it is definitely an entirely new story when you keep a pet. So the people, I mean,
life changes 360 degrees.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I see her role in my healing, you know, a big role in my healing, my hypertension, my stress, my pain, everything. She was always there for me.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Are we good to go for meditation, sir?
Yes, Naina ma'am.
Yes, sir. Please forgive me if I've gone out of the topic. It is not out of the topic actually.
No, absolutely.
Because I feel, you know, one thing I remember is Baba always, when he was alive, he would feed all, whatever he would go and beg for that day. He would first he would make 3 portions. One portion would be for all the animals that would come to him, including ants. Sometimes he would feel the, you know, hunger of these animals, and he would ask for somebody to make puran poli, you know, that kind of, what is that? Puran poli is a kind of sweet here. And when they made it and brought, he would give for ants to eat. So that is the level of understanding he had. So I was just curious. So I just asked people. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, who Jaspir ma'am, Jagruti ma'am, and all others. Thank you. Okay. Sir, you'll play the music, sir? Masters, close your eyes. If you're wearing a spect, please keep it aside. Cross your legs, cross your fingers. Take comfortable position, sit straight. Slowly get connected to your breath, masters. Take a deep breath. Breathe in. Slowly breathe out. Feel the air into each cell of your body, masters. Feel that air filling up all your cells, removing the blockages. Feel your cells breathing. You can really do this. By doing this, you'll be healed to some extent with your all pains. Allow the energy to enter each and every cell of your body. Feel it, masters. Wherever you have pains, blockages, feel there. Push this air there. Masters, when a life in any form comes onto this earth, be it a tree, be it an animal, be it a human, all of us celebrate. Even death, which we feel very heavy to think of. We are so scared to think or hear about this world, death, isn't it? So many fears, insecurities are attached to this world. Remember, masters, the soul has no death at all. Your soul is all permanent. It has come here in a physical form, in the form of Naina, you, others like animals, to play its role, to learn the lessons it has to learn through its experience. Remember, whether it is you, whether it is your loved ones, always remember, when you hear this word, just pray and know that, or remember yourself, the role play is going to change. The cloth the body was wearing is shed off, or the soul which had clothes, now it is going to change its clothes and wear new clothes. That's so simple. That means changing your clothes. Your soul changes into new clothes because the old ones were worn out. No need to fear, masters. As you celebrate life, even this is celebration. That is what our Brahma Shri Pitamaha Patriji taught us. He has taught us great lessons of life. We saw so many examples during his enlightenment hours on no death. Instead of grieving, yes, grief is part of healing process, but do not over grieve for the soul that has departed, because I and you cannot hold or have any rights to change the fate. The soul had its own plan, so It has learned its lessons. And now it wants to be released from this old clothes so that it can proceed into other world and wear a new cloth. It is this simple, masters. Never ever fear. Because all of us have come onto this plane to learn our lessons that we are destined to. No one is permanent. This physical body is very impermanent. Never ever get attached too much to this physicality. Do not get attached to worldly wealth. Or the emotions that cause illusions, or the relations around you, made to be your spouse, wife, children, parents, anything, anybody. Yes, I know it is very difficult to do, but masters, spirituality means acceptance. Accept everything as it comes to you. We saw last week, if we overgrieve for the soul is in confusion to leave this earth plane and to proceed to the other plane, spirit world, for its progression. And also, it cannot come back to the earth plane. Look what we are causing it. We are causing more pain by getting attached to that. And there are people who can misuse this soul, which is in between. We have learned this in last class. So many souls came to the channeler. They talked to their dear ones. They told they were not happy with the way their loved ones were, taking life after their death. Whether young ones pass, old ones pass, or whoever it is, age doesn't matter. For soul, nothing matters except its progression. Once its lessons are learned, it is ready to go. Masters, let's not be ignorant. Of course, grief is part of healing, but do not overindulge and cause pain to the soul that has departed. It will not be happy at all. You will be making it to hover in between two worlds. It cannot progress and it cannot come back to you. So please release. Release anyone's death, any dear one's death, that you still feel the pain. Let go lovingly. Bless them for the time they had with you. Bless all the experiences that you shared with them. And happily send the soul back, Masters. If you are still grieving, please do so. Remember, even we are not permanent here. We are here just to play our role as me, as a mother, as a father, as a brother, as a sister, as everything else. It's a role play. Never, ever get attached to yourself, to this role play. When you go to a movie, you just watch the movie. Of course, you shed your tears because you feel for it. But once you come out of theater, you're no longer attached to it, isn't it? That is how life is, Masters. I know it's very difficult, but this is what spirituality is teaching you. Accepting all the emotions, accepting your own self as you, with all those flaws or everything, whatever it is. Take the responsibility. Next step. Completely surrender and try to change. Go with the flow. Do not resist any sufferings, any pain. The more you resist, the more it persists. If you resist the situations, the same situations come back to you until you learn. Don't resist anything. Accept. Take the responsibility. Completely surrender and play your role, Masters. That's all is needed. Always be true to yourself. Be real to yourself. Remember, end of the day, you have to answer your inner self. No need to pretend. No need to lie. No need to cheat. No need to feel jealous. No need to hate. These are very heavy emotions. In doing all this, you harm your own self more than others. Be content. Be satisfied. Be happy. Never ever compare yourself to others. Because nothing is permanent and no one is going to go with all this, even if they have 10 cars, 10 houses, 10 diamond sets, nothing is going to go with them. This is the ultimate truth, masters. Seek for inner truth. Whomever you have to forgive, kindly forgive. Release your soul with all these burdens. Forgive those who have hated you, who have condemned you, who have criticized you, who have been jealous of you. Remember, they are ignorant. You are blessed to be on this path of spiritualism. Don't say, why should I do this? Lift yourself up. Each and every time you face these emotions and try to forgive the other party, you will conserve your energy by doing so. You will not carry anything. So that way, you're lessening the burden of the soul. Remember, all these heavy emotions of jealous, anger, hatred, they can be carried to the next lifetimes if we linger on while we leave this physical body. So your property, your children, your cars, your bank balance, nothing comes with you except these emotions. So instead, clear up all your balance here itself, masters. Clear these emotions. Every day, whomever you're feeling jealous, anger, call that soul, forgive that soul, imagine that soul to be a child, and just hug the child and let go. This should be done heartily so that when you face the same person again, you no longer carry those feelings. Once you're able to be neutral towards such people, then remember, you have lessened the burden of your soul. Every flower that blooms gives freshness. So let's cleanse our soul and bloom again in the next lifetimes. Spreading the love, compassion, kindness. No need to fear for death. Cleanse your soul. Forgive each and every one that has hurt you. Let go, masters. Come to acceptance, take responsibility, surrender, and forgive. These are the 4 diamonds that you can carry ever after from now. Thank you for all your beautiful souls for being here on the Spiritual Tablet platform and allowing us to do this. I thank all of you on behalf of Spiritual Tablets. Also convey my regards to Ashok Sir, Spiritual Tablet platform, and to you all without whom this cannot happen. Be with us in our journey. Let's travel together. Thank you once again. Have a good day. Have a good night. Love you all. Thank you, Ashok Sir. Come back, masters. Slowly rub your palms. Keep on your eyes. 3, 2, 1. You're ready to open your eyes. No need to hurry. Slowly open up. I also thank internet connection for making this happen today, because it has been raining cats and dogs. So my gratitude goes to even nature, because I didn't know that it would work today. So my gratitude to even nature. And to my little Dora, because she's not trouble me today at all. Love you all.